I'm Glenn, Dave's behind the camera. Welcome to another episode of NC Beer Buzz. We're the NC Beer guys, and we found our way to Wilmington today to the relatively new Broomtail Brewing Company. And where are we in Wilmington exactly? Give us our location here. We're off of Market Street, but just barely.
It's in an industrial park called Dutch Square Industrial Park. It's on Amsterdam Way.
So if you're on what people know as Market Street, keep coming north, or if you're coming down from Ogden on Highway 17, it'll be on the right coming down into town.
That's correct.
Good, good. And we're with Barry Owings, and Barry is the brewer here, and he's going to tell us all about what's going on, how he got to be Broomtail. And we want to know about that name too, because that's a little unusual.
Yeah.
So thanks for having us in.
Sure. Appreciate you coming.
So you guys opened up when? How long you been out here?
A little over a year.
And so far so good? Is it everything you thought it'd be?
It's been fantastic. Yeah, we couldn't have asked for any more. The support's been great. The crowd we get every weekend and the response we get from the beers, it's phenomenal.
And how did it come to be? You were brewing at home and you just decided I'm going to do it big time?
It's actually Randy and I, the assistant brewer, and I, we've been brewing together since 1990. And Broomtail really is my wife's business. Okay. She's the one she's always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And
she's here every day kind of running the place.
Absolutely. She runs the business.
Right.
She runs the front room, she runs the wholesale sales, the retail sales. And Randy and I, and Randy's wife, we come in on the weekends. Kim helps Lisa in the front, and Randy and I help her in the back. We brew in the back.
Okay. And you and Randy were home brewers?
Yeah.
And decided just to, let's do this thing?
Yeah, we started home brewing in '90 before it was really popular.
Right.
And just kept doing it over the years, and then over probably the past 6 to 8 years, got more and more interested and automated the home system to a point where we were developing really good consistency. And then one day we actually had a party across the street. Our neighbor had a party, and he had asked us to brew some beer for him.
Bring your home beer.
So we brewed a batch of our blonde and took it over. We didn't realize he also had a couple of other kegs that he had brought in of a big beer.
Okay.
And he went on tap at 3 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, our keg kicked.
Nice.
There was 150 adults there, and they drank our keg.
And you beat all the commercial people.
And one of the kegs never even tapped all day.
Right.
And the other did finally kick. But
they wanted more of yours.
Yeah.
So that had to spark something in you, saying there's something here more than just a homebrew operation.
Absolutely. And once again, it was really Lisa's spark. Our kids were leaving for college. One was already in college. The other was about to leave.
And her spirit was she wanted to go out here and do something for herself.
She wanted to do something else. And she said, hey, that's it. You know, if you'll brew it, I'll sell it.
And you guys were already local to Wilmington, so it wasn't like you came here to do this.
No.
This is home, or this is where you were?
We actually moved here in 1990.
Okay.
And that's when we met Randy and Kim. And that's when Randy and I, he got a kit for Christmas, and we brewed the first batch, and it went from there. Now,
your background is water chemistry. You're an engineer, is that right?
Yes.
And how does that help you in what you do here?
Consistency. Water profiles are extremely important for each style of beer. So Randy and I take every drop of water all the way back to H2O.
Okay.
We strip it down to pure water.
And you don't use the city water here, you said?
No. If we did, it would be even easier. But we're on well water.
Okay.
So we're using straight Castle Hayne water, Castle Hayne Aquifer water, which is really high in some things that could hurt the beer, like iron. We strip it all the way back to H2O, and then we build a profile back for each specific beer. We add the proper minerals and then reanalyze the water to make sure it's proper.
So in some ways you're making the water to match the beer it will eventually be.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
Example, Beer de Garde. We literally build a French water. Our stout, we build a Dublin, Ireland water. Our IPAs, we build to different English water profiles.
So you're spending almost as much time bringing the water to where you need it to be as you are brewing, or not? Is that not fair?
It literally takes us 6 hours to make a batch of water.
Okay, no matter where you're taking it to.
Absolutely.
The processes.
And then as you know, you've been around enough breweries and homebrewed yourself, it takes about 6 hours to brew a batch.
Okay.
So yeah, about 50% of our time is spent making the water.
But you feel like it's well worth it for consistency and quality.
Absolutely, and it's how we can provide true to form profiles from across the world. We can provide an exact style from Colorado or from the UK.
Because it's just like what you would get if you were brewing with their water.
Absolutely.
Because you're making the water what you need it to be.
That's absolutely right.
So what are there's some flagships, I guess, you always have. And then some specialties and seasonals?
I'll tell you, right now, all of the ones that we had anticipated being seasonals, our clients are not letting us take them off tap.
Okay, so you're brewing seasonal all year round.
We're brewing 10 beers all year round right now. Yes.
Nice. Now, you were saying earlier that they have a tap area inside, but you didn't envision the retail part of the business to be the business.
No, we had totally envisioned the front of the room only being 2 to 5% of the business. And the back room, because we're mainly a distribution brewery.
Right.
That's what we designed the business to be.
And not to get off of that point, but you are so far local accounts, 30 or so accounts you said?
Yep.
And is your hope to grow that local, or are you going to spread, or are you going to be a Wilmington brewery or a state brewery, or what are you thinking maybe?
With this facility, we are where we'll be.
Because you're brewing all you can make now, right?
Yeah, and we sell out. So it's, we can't expand any further right now. We do service one account in Cary. Other than that, the rest of our accounts are around Wilmington. When we expand the brewery.
And you will?
Oh yeah.
You're willing to say that already. You know you'll be there.
We already have the next brewery designed and engineered. At this point, it's the site, and of course at that time, as I mentioned earlier, Randy and I have jobs. So at that time, that's when there'll be personnel that she'll have to bring in personnel, and we'll teach them the recipes, and it'll be another business for her at that time. But yeah, that's already in the plans for the future.
Good. But having said that, the tap area has really taken off, though.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic.
Because you never really thought it'd be a primary part of the business, but yet you spend a good amount of the business goes across that counter.
Oh yeah, yeah. She opens Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and usually there's people standing outside with growlers to fill when she opens the door. Right. And usually when it's time to close each night,
she has to kind of edge them out the door a little bit.
Yeah, and we don't do that. We let them stay, but there's always people in there at closing time.
But the regulars know it's time. It is closing time, as they say. Right.
Yeah. But it's been great. This little tap room packs out every day.
Great. And is it more than you anticipated? Have you been surprised by the success?
I wouldn't say surprised by the overall success. My surprise has been we're in a small industrial park in North Wilmington.
And the retail side, the tap room part, has what you didn't anticipate.
That's the surprise for me, has been the front room. Now, granted, she hasn't ever done anything that's been a failed business. So when this exploded for her up front, and plus with hers and Kim's personalities up front, we knew it would work out well.
Right, but just not quite how well.
Yeah, I'm proud of the beers, and I'm proud that people are coming back for them. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's drawing people over here, between Kim and Lisa and the quality and consistency of the beers. Right.
So before we close, let's talk about the beers themselves. What are you most proud of? What's the biggest seller? What's different here than anywhere else?
It's difficult for me to say which one I'm most proud of, because honestly, we have probably 100 recipes that we've developed over the years, and these 10 we're most proud of. Right. You know? Right. And these are the 10 that we're keeping rolling
and
on
they're
tap.
all over the styles.
Yes.
Here now, and because you explained how you can do that.
Yes.
So there's not a Broomtail beer or signature.
Not really.
Right.
If you went around Wilmington, probably most of the bars, the one that you would see the most of is a beer called Mo Beer. Okay. MOE beer.
And why is it hit?
I don't know.
And
people love it.
What is it?
It's a very unique brown ale.
Okay.
I don't like heavy body beers. So when we developed the recipe for Mo beer, I knew we needed a brown up there. We developed it with a low body. So we kept mashing lower and lower until we got the body where we wanted it. And then it took away some of the caramel flavor, so we had to work some magic to get some caramel flavor back in there.
Right.
Well, then it just turned out to be a phenomenal low body brown ale. I didn't expect it to be the biggest seller in all the bars. I figured one of the hoppy beers would be.
But who knows what's going to hit?
But there's probably about twice as much Mo beer that goes out to the bars and restaurants versus the others.
How about that?
Yeah, been very surprising.
You just don't ever know.
Nope.
How about that?
But overall, the range that we have out there, we've got a blonde ale that's very clean. Surprisingly, most of the brewers that come in here really love the blonde because it's very difficult to make a really clean blonde, and they appreciate that. And then Mo is the brown. That's the next. The next is a very unique pale ale. It's all Zeus hops, which not CTZ. It's not a combination of Columbus, Tomahawk, and Zeus. It's true Zeus that we get from Hopsteiner, the only farm that really grows true Zeus. And it's got this really weedy, dank flavor that people love. Then you move on to another very unique beer, which is Enkindled, our smoked IPA. And then Acerbic, which is our flagship IPA. Okay. And then Just Sayin' is our Imperial IPA, our first Imperial IPA. Then we have Marwari, which is almost a triple IPA.
Almost triple.
Almost triple. It's and it's way up there in IBU. It's about 110 IBU, but you don't know it when you taste it, which is the way it is with all of our IPAs. They're very balanced, more English to West Coast type IPAs. Yep. Right. Then we've got another unique beer. Elysium is our Bière de Garde, a very true to form Bière de Garde, a French beer. Then we have Râpé, which is our Imperial Stout. As I mentioned earlier, I don't like heavy body beers, so we mashed it to generate an Imperial Stout with a low body. Right. So it's very unique, very, very much loved around here.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's a pretty nice band of beers. And then we've got a couple of them that we do for other restaurants, and we only serve them in those restaurants here. One of those is called Catch of the Day. It's brewed for Catch restaurant here in Wilmington.
We know him from our comp dining experience.
Oh, good.
He's been one of the chefs and one of the judges of the competition.
Nice, nice. Yeah, Chef Rhodes and I came up with that recipe together. It's a ginger wit. We only serve it here.
At Catch and here.
Yep. And then another one that is not released yet, it'll be released next month, is going to be the flagship beer for Buffalo Wild Wings. It's going to start in 3 stores here. It'll be Monkey Junction, Eastwood, and Jacksonville.
And then go to all the...
We don't know that yet.
You don't know that yet.
But
the local Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes.
For sure.
And it's going to be called Buckin' Bison Saison.
Buckin' Bison Saison.
Yeah. And that'll be just at Buffalo Wild Wings and here.
Well, that's great.
And then we've got one that we just brewed last week, and it's going to be with a local pub downtown called Duck and Dive. They brought us a Maker's Mark barrel, and we're going to put an Imperial Stout in the Maker's Mark barrel and soak it in there, and then we'll serve it here and at Duck and Dive.
That's great.
A lot of fun doing those specialties like that.
You guys are just busy as you can be.
And the crazy thing is we can't keep up because Randy and I just do it on the weekends.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But we have a good time doing it. We work hard at it, and you know, Lisa's business is doing great through that. You know,
and obviously making great beer.
Appreciate that.
So we would encourage our friends, when you find your way to Wilmington, to make your way to Broomtail. Try out some of these great beers we've been talking about, and when you're around Wilmington area drinking at different locations, bars, restaurants, make sure you check on the menu for Broomtail products, and if you don't see them, ask, where's my Broomtail?
And look for, it's a brown horsetail is the tap handle.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Until next time, this is Dave and Glenn with NC Beer Guys with another episode of NC Beer Buzz, and we remind you to drink local and keep your beer dollars in North Carolina.